evening. On a salary, hardly enough to survive on. But they give their own reverend best.
But whatever we do tonight, I'm sure you're going to be very happy that we're doing it. I know it's a Tuesday night, and I'm going to ask of you to get a little bit of coffee because you're going to be for at least for another 2 hours. All right, guys, get your coffee out. And at that late hour, I don't want you to eat anything. No flour, no bread, nothing. Just a little coffee, okay? And those of you don't take coffee, when the yard get some simikotwa. Draw a little bit and put a little bit of brown sugar in there. And so in 60 seconds, I'm going to go right across to Mr. G. And he's going to be introducing our guests, our honorees, and everybody who's with us this evening. I'm just going to hold up his book for him, that's all. But he's going to be doing the talking tonight.
Flowers to you, sir, before you go away.
We have all these very, very good people from the committee with us this evening. And in the studio on my right, I'm not God and he's not Jesus, but I have Prince Wadix. Good evening to you, Mr. G. A very, very good evening to you tonight, and trust that you are doing very, very well.
Pastor Rodney, I'm not even going to bother to ask you how you're doing because I know that you're doing very well. You always tell me so.
I am doing very well for a young man.
Yes, and I'm thankful to have you in the studio with us tonight. And yourself and Wadix. But let me just say a very special good evening to you, Pastor Rodney. And in fact, a very warm, hearty, warm welcome to our esteemed OPHELIA, La Grande Dame of Creole music. I didn't say that. That's what the people have said. Your distinguished husband, McCarthy Marie, who's in the studio with you. How are you doing, Mark?
Yeah, well, I'm doing fine.
Great. Now, a special good evening to all of you, to our worldwide Q family listeners, and to our kudos to our Heroes Committee members who are with us tonight from various parts of the United States and Canada and Dominica and so on. It is indeed a global evening tonight, global event, because I've been receiving all these messages from OPHELIA, from your fans, your colleagues, your affiliates, from Q family listeners and beneficiaries at home and abroad. You know, quite a number of people benefited from all the work that you've done. But to everyone in the Q family who still need to Q95 right now, on YouTube, on Facebook, and on other streaming platforms, we anticipate a big evening tonight with Q95 ordering a highly distinguished lady on the big station. So I'm absolutely delighted, and indeed I feel honored and privileged, in fact, to say a very, very special good evening to the distinguished members of our Q95 Heroes Committee. Ms. Janice Williams Russell in Toronto, CSM Ralph Alcendoy in Atlanta, Georgia. I guess he will join us a little later. Ms. Corinne Francis, who's in San Francisco. Dr. Simone Matthew in Atlanta, Georgia. Former UN Ambassador Crispin Gregoire in New York. Dr. Dion George in Atlanta, Georgia. And of course, Mr. Leroy Wadix Charles in Dominica, and yourself, Pastor Rodney in Dominica. Be sure to join our live stream and share the live on Facebook and YouTube at Q95 FM Radio and on several other streaming platforms. My fellow Dominicans, our cherished and highly favored extended Q family listeners and friends of Dominica at home and abroad, as chairman of the Q95 Kudos to our Heroes Committee, and on behalf of our entire committee, I'm absolutely delighted and honored to present OPHELIA to Dominica, to the region, and to the world as our 10th national hero. Pastor Rodney already listed the other 9 persons, outstanding persons, who our national heroes as well. But Ophelia is, as we all know, a very humble lady, known globally as the Lady of Song. She was born in Curacao. Her father, Mr. Revenue Oliver Che, from Soufriere, who later migrated to Curacao to work in the oil industry. Her mom, Josephine Oliver Che, was from Point Michel. Ophelia's dear husband, Mark, of over 45 years, I believe. I don't want to make him sound so young. Is from the town of Wesley. So we shout out your daughter Terry Ann Bino, who is teaching French, I believe, in Boston, and your son Miguel, who's in Atlanta. Your cherished grandchildren include Maya Marie and Mali, Jean Marie. Ophelia got a primary education, just to let you know something about her. Ophelia got a primary education first in Curacao and later at the St. Luke's Primary School in Point Michel. She completed a secondary education at the Convent High School, and she graduated, I believe, in 1969. Ophelia burst onto the Creole music scene in 1978 with a seminal hit, I, Dominic. I mean, we all know that song. We love it. We grew up with it. We danced to it. We sang it, which was recorded in Paris in January of that year. And her reception by the public was reported to be nothing short of ecstatic. As Ozzie Lewis would say, ecstatic. So Ophelia's performances helped tremendously to shift Creole music towards concerts and less of the marathon dance sessions, which was a popular form of the music presentations in the French West Indies at the time. Ophelia had many concerts where she played to crowds in excess of 10,000 persons. Would you believe it? She's a true cultural ambassador, isn't she? Ophelia has performed in every island in the Caribbean except Cuba. Ophelia has thus far recorded 16 albums. Quite a feat, isn't it? She has won many awards, the Maracas d'Or in Paris, the National Award, the Cicero Medal of Honor, and the Caribbean Cultural Icon Award from Carifesta Committee, the only person, in fact, to be awarded in the musical field. You know, of all of the awards she has received, I believe Ophelia cherishes a Lifetime Achievement Award received from SACEM in Martinique the most. She's also very appreciative of her first one, the Maracas d'Or in Paris in 1981, as well as the Golden Drum Award in Dominica in 1986, and the Cicero Award in 1989. Ophelia thus far has recorded, as I said, the 16 albums. And though her husband Mark she and her husband Mark have established an accommodation facility for tourists. We all know Ophelia. Ophelia up there in the valley, outstanding little organization there. She maintains a very active touring schedule. Ophelia is in fact a university trained social worker. Her social action reached several chorales, cultural enthusiasts, senior citizens groups, and the youth. In fact, Ophelia is the current president of the Association for Senior Citizens. So in addition to her valuable transformational lifelong works and accomplishments, Ophelia always brings out the best in others to work hard, be true to her profession, to reach out to excellence and be dedicated to being the best that she can be in whatever they do, and asking people to do the best that they can be in everything that they do as well. In fact, I can say a little bit about that because I had the pleasure, the honor to work with Ophelia when I was at the NDC. She did an outstanding job of promoting Dominica worldwide, especially in the French territories, and Dominica, I'm sure, has appreciated that work, which lives on today. So kudos indeed to Ophelia and her family. She's a true Dominican hero for instilling a positive mental attitude that elevated the content of the social and cultural dialogue on so many matters for over 45 years, for being a great Dominican who demonstrated that each of us can do extraordinary things in whatever we set our minds to do. So we invite you, our cherished Q95 listeners at home, in the region and worldwide, to join us tonight in appreciating, embracing, celebrating, recognizing, awarding, and extending kudos to our 10th Dominican national hero, Ophelia. And rest assured that Ophelia will remain highly respected, admired, and cherished by all Dominicans abroad and by all of us here at home in our nature island gem of the Caribbean. So, for her exemplary performance in transcending self-interest, for going over and beyond the call of duty and above and beyond the normal demands and expectations, for commanding respect in society, for being a true pioneer in her work and in her occupation, for her innovation, achievements, and tenacity in the face of the challenges that she has encountered and endured in her lifetime, for very impactful leadership excellence, for community involvement, collaborations, partnerships, for a dedicated commitment to people's well-being and social development. For these and many more reasons, the Q95 Kudos to Our Heroes Committee recognizes, again, appreciates, embraces, and awards Ophelia as a champion, and we bestow upon her the very well-deserved and earned esteemed title of a true Dominican national hero. So kudos indeed to our 10th Dominican hero, Ophelia, her husband, Mark Marie, her children and her grandchildren, who have stood steadfastly beside us through thick and thin. And it is the honor and delight of every member of the Kudos to Our Heroes Committee, of all of us Dominicans at home and abroad, and all of us in the Q family, to say to you and to say to everyone, everywhere, we know and we respect Ophelia. May the good Lord bless you, Ophelia, your illustrious husband, Mark, your wonderful children and grandchildren, and may God also bless all of the other true Dominican national heroes whose works positively impact the lives of Dominicans and others everywhere, every day. So on behalf of our Kudos to Our Heroes Committee, and on behalf of every Dominican at home and abroad, thank you, Ophelia. Thank you. We wish you Godspeed. We look forward to having you to inspire us for many, many more years to come. So thank you, and may the good Lord bless your entire family very, very richly. I yield to you, Pastor Rodney.
You know, Mr. G, that's the part of the song I really wanted to hear. I wanted you to hear the song, you know. Même si nous ni problème, moi kai rester ici.
Pastor Rodney, I didn't know you could move like that. From the time that song started playing, I saw you motion.
Okay, let's not talk about this. Is not about me, Mr. G. A very good evening again to all of you, ladies and gentlemen. We have just started this program. It's already 8 minutes to 8 o'clock in the evening, and we are honoring our 10th honoree, the lady of song, Ophelia Olivache Marie, and she's here with her husband. But next to me is Prince Wadix, one of our Creole gentlemen and one who promotes that music quite some. Good evening, Prince Wadix.
Good afternoon to you, Pastor.
It's evening, you know.
Oh, good evening. Bonsoir, 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 bonsoir. Bonsoir, Pasteur Rodney. Est-ce que ça va? Est-ce que tout va bien?
Ça va bien, ça va bien. Tout bonnement.
Eh bien, c'est un spécial bonsoir. Nous sommes la grande dame de la chanson antillaise, Mama Créole. Nous avons honoré cela. Ça, c'est vraiment une célébration créole.
C'est vrai ça? Hein?
Absolument.
Là, on est Mama Créole. C'est une célébration créole même.
C'est tout le monde. Parce que
nous avons parlé contre madame qui Mama Créole en chanson. Bail qu'a fait nous et tout.
Pas chanson seulement, hein, c'est gamme,
Mais
une spéciale
c'est
gamme.
vrai ça, c'est vrai ça.
Et une spéciale respect.
D'accord.
Pas respect ici seulement, mais respect tout partout, Guadeloupe, Martinique, tout partout francophonie. Une spécial respect, ça c'est pourquoi nous devons continuer à élever, et ça c'est pourquoi c'est important, on soit là pour nous faire ça, nous faire, on soit là.
D'accord. D'accord. Mr. G, I don't know if Dr. Simon understood that, but I'm going to take a few comments from all of the members of the committee now. And, as I often say, be succinct as we do that this evening, because we really want to have some interaction in OPHELIA tonight as we do that. So I'm going to start with Dr. Simon. And I will mix them up a little bit. I'll have a doctor and a nurse, and then I'll have a doctor again. So I'll have Dr. Simon, and then I'll have Corinne. And quite possibly I'll go to Dion and then Janice. All right? Is that fine, guys?
Sure.
Thank you very much.
Pasteur Rodney, moi c'est Jean Dominique, ou ça? Moi ça parle créole?
Ou ka parle créole l'anglais.
Mais oui, monsieur, moi ça parle créole.
Ou parle créole en créole. Ou parle créole en anglais.
Laisse-moi venir, Dominique, moi qui parle créole,
Okay, merci.
Well, good evening, everyone. A special good evening to Ophelia, her husband Mac, and everyone else from the Kudos to our Heroes Committee joining us this evening. Of course, a special good evening to our Q95 listeners at home and abroad, and our Facebook and YouTube live audience. We are looking forward to engaging with you. We know you have a lot to say to congratulate Ophelia this evening. So we just wanted to welcome Ophelia and congratulate her. And, I was listening to a program yesterday and they said, we as Dominicans, we don't laugh anymore. We don't smile anymore. And I want to say, well, that's exactly what we're here for this evening. We're here to smile. We're here to celebrate. We're here to have a wonderful time, because this is the time where we honor a great lady, a phenomenal lady, a lady who has served as a role model for so many of us, not only those of us who graduated from the convent high school, but for women in Dominica and by extension, the world. So I think as the Kudos to our Heroes Committee, we made an excellent choice with selecting Ophelia as our 10th national hero. And I look forward this evening to being a part of this incredible celebration.
Thank you, Dr. Simone. Let's go to Nurse Corinne. She went to put her uniform.
Your
All right,
mic.
Janice, let's talk then. Oh, Corinne is right there. Corinne, good night.
Pastor Randy, if anyone is sick, I can promise you they should not come to me for any kind of clinical care. I may work in the healthcare system, but I am not a nurse by any stretch of the imagination.
Thank you for telling me.
You're welcome. To all of you who are listening to us in Q Radio land and Q Facebook land and Q any kind of social media land, welcome to this amazing program called Kudos for Heroes, and to the honoring of Our Lady of Song, Ophelia. Culture is a backbone of society. And this woman that we're honoring today represents this backbone of our society, of a culture of song, music, and dance that we can all be proud of. I know I am very proud of the song, music, and dance of Dominica, especially Miss Ophelia. When you came to St. Martin's School many, many years ago, and you selected a few students to dance to the song Wine Like a Ball of Twine, this was one of the students who was listening to you.
Wow.
And whining like a ball of twine in St. Martin's School during that time. This is one of my favorite memories of my days as a student in St. Martin's School. And I caught the culture bug, and I have never turned back. Anyone who knows me know that I love to dance. In fact, I say when I die, I need some music in my coffin. That's how much I love music. And it's ingrained in my soul. And I thank you for continuing to ingrain music, which is truly our spirit, our culture, our soul, into all of us, that makes us proud to be Dominicans.
Thank you, Corinne. Thank you very much. Dr. Dion George, can we have those comments from you, my friend?
Thank you very much, Pastor Rodney, and thank you to the listening audience for being here. Pleasant good evening to the honoree, Mrs. Ophelia Mary, and to my colleagues and to everyone else listening. Well, the first thing I will do, since it's Pastor Rodney who is the host, I will go to a scripture. And the scripture this evening, Miss Ophelia Mary, is taken from the book of Luke, chapter 1, verse 46. And if you don't know what it is, and I believe you do know, but I will remind you, it says, "My soul magnifies the Lord, and my spirit rejoices in God my Savior." And so I mentioned that, as you may well figure out, because I was a young, and may I say a little boy, when I attended the Roseau Cathedral. And I heard you perform, and I can tell you right now, when I told you I had chills in my body, I am feeling that chills right now. And so that's the first thing I will say. Kudos to you, congratulations. And you touched me not just culturally, but spiritually as well. So that's number one. Kudos to you, and I'm so thankful for that. And I believe every Christian, when you sing, Mary says, "I will accept it. My soul magnifies the Lord, and my spirit rejoices in God, my Savior." Miss Ophelia Mary, thank you. So that's number one. Number two, I remember very well the culture, and as my former colleague just mentioned, that culture is really important. And I remember as a young man growing up in Salisbury, being in Carhome. Carhome is the heights of Salisbury. And my father, he's passed away now, may God bless his soul, he used to play DBS. And I heard your voice singing, "I Domini." And while that played in the van, I'm in the river hole in Kakado. And I'm being quite honest here, because it's nostalgia. So when I hear that, it reminds me of when I was in the river and rain falling, and I'm hearing the music and your voice, and I hold a Kakado, I bring to my sister, I say, "I hold a Quibish," you know? And so these things, it resonate very deep with me. And I can really identify with what you have done for us. But on the third note, I will tell you personally, I don't know if you remember, but I recall very well when you came to Midwestern State University, recall? And you were so fitting. I recall that you mixed with the Grenadians, with the St. Lucians, and it's like you just gelling. I mean, really just meshing. And so, I mean, I was so proud. And I just want to tell you, kudos to you. I believe Dominica is proud, the Caribbean is proud. And you have done well. You have made Dominica, and you are well deserving, 100%. Thank you for what you have done. Thank you, Miss.
Thank you, Dr. George. And then let's have the other lady who's here, who's also a singer. Janice, good night.
Janice might have to unmute her mic.
My dear Janice, you there? All right, I'm sure. Yes, you're there. Okay, let's hear you now.
Well, 35 years of loving my Dudu. That's all I gotta say. She knows that. She's my queen, my empress. And I have loved her from the day I laid eyes on her when I visited Point Michel to practice. And that is when I said, boy, I can do it. And she knows it. And I have to say, congratulations. I love you, and you know it. And tonight, we could not be celebrating a better and more deserving queen. So enjoy, relax. Kudos to you, my darling.
Thank you, Janice.
Thanks, Janice. Thanks, Janice. From my perspective, Ophelia, one of the things that I've said, without taking anything from any musician, one of the things that I love about certain artists
Pastor
is
Rodney,
that there's a timelessness about what they write.
Pastor
There are
Rodney,
some people's songs that you can sing at one time of the year, and you can't sing it another time. There are some songs that if somebody hears you sing it now, they wonder where you come out. But there are some songs that are really, they go through time. And I do not know any one of your songs, quite frankly, that one cannot pick up and sing at any time, and it won't do the same thing each time to the people who listen to it. I think it's rich lyrically, but I'm not a musician like Mark is. I dabble with music, right? I play some instruments. I play some instruments. I'm not, I can't say I'm accomplished, but I play the bass guitar, I play the rhythm guitar, I play the keyboards. I blow a little bit.
Actually, I do none of those.
Oh my God.
Absolutely none. I'm not a musician at all.
You just put it together. Okay. All right. But then when I listen to that, and there are other musicians, but tonight it's you we honor. There is something that is especially not the word that I'm looking for, but your music transcends time. The last time you were at our church, I think it must be probably less than a year ago. Yeah, less than a year ago. And I just wanted to make sure that I heard you sing. And I was happy that impromptu, you picked up the song, and there were a couple of singers I think went back to you at some function somewhere. And your song did as though it was a new recording that Mark was doing. Right out of there. And I really appreciate that. And I want you to know that there are few like there are few musicians who can really transcend time as far as the lyrics and the music. So and I'm really happy about that. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go back now and take some comments from some of the people who know Ophelia very, very well. And tonight we're going to start with her brother Bobby, and we'll hear from her sister. I've grouped some of those clippings so that we can kind of tie them together. So the first four people we're going to hear, or should I say 4 or 5 people we're going to hear, they're talking about the lady that they know. Okay. And so I want you to spend some time to listen to that. I will ask Mark a few questions about the wife that he knows tonight. And when people like that are here, I like to do that because I want people to know that the singer also have a life. And we might be honoring her because we see her out there, but there is some honor that started somewhere that we didn't see, that was the seed of what we see, right? So we're going to start with that, and let's hear Bobby, and then we'll listen to Carol, I think that is, and we'll take Gordon, the illustrious Gordon Henderson. I'm sure he's listening somewhere in some part of the world.
Paris.
Yeah. We'll take Longdrina and then David. So let's do those 5 people. Wow. The clips are pretty well handled this evening, and I want to commend all of those who put it together and the producer of this thing. I'm really happy about that. So let's first do Bobby.
Yes, greetings and blessings to my people out there. I am Ras Bobby Olivache from Point Michel, Dominica. It is an honor and a privilege for me to say a few things about one of the most sentimental people in my life, my sister, Ophelia Olivache Marie. Ophelia has been so much to me, so much to our family. And so it's not too difficult to say the things that I know about my sister because I am happy that I was part of her household. Yes, Ophelia is the first of 5 children that my mother bore, even if we have 3 other sisters. And ever since she came forth, she has been our leader. She came first, and she has always been the example to us. I have known Ophelia as a school teacher. She taught me in school. I know Ophelia as my sister, who led me at home. I know Ophelia as the president of the Youth Literary Club in Point Michel, which I was also a member of. We helped educate so many people in Point Michel. She was our leader. She was our mentor. I know Ophelia as this great superstar who lived in my household, who I didn't know about. And I only got an insight of who the recognition that she had in places like Martinique, Guadeloupe, and even French Guiana, which I was privileged to tour with her as far back as 1978. In fact, I will recall the numberless people who came to her shows. I recall that there was a sign up with Ophelia in Martinique. And while we were there waiting, everybody panicked because so many people came to the area where where we were at one time, just to get a little touch of Ophelia Olivache Marie. So she's our superstar in our household. Her mentor, my dad, Reverend Olivache, was as we know, one of the greatest singers that we ever had in Dominica. And in those days, there were no recordings, but Ophelia was the one who had the opportunity to record many songs that her dad and our family was so happy that she could forward. And so to know that she's now being, continues to be recognized by some of you out there in Dominica, we want you to know that this lady is truly the beautiful person that you see on the street every day. As great as she is, she's very humble. She's a mother. She's just everything to her family and to her husband, who has managed her so diligently for so many years. And so we just want the people to know that we have a superstar among us who we expect will continue to do great works. In fact, years ago when she asked, Bobby, what do you think I should do? I say, what else could you do but sing? And ever since she has continued, and we're so happy that she has been able to achieve the things that she has achieved in her lifetime. So just want to say endless thanks and endless love and endless greetings to who it may concern. This sister Ophelia Olivache Marie, I love her so much. She knows when I say that it is coming from the bottom of my heart. We want her to stay blessed, stay irate,
My name is
and
Carol
have a great
Bruni,
life.
and I'm Ophelia's sister. Ophelia has earned several prestigious titles and awards, namely Dominica's Lady of Song, La Grande Dame de la Chanson, just to name a few. Yet for me, the greatest of all is simply my big sister. She has always been a great role model and inspiration for us all, growing up in Point Michel, and still is today. I am definitely blessed to have her in my life. I have great love and admiration for this young lady, and recently realized that I can actually say anything to her and still be respectful of her. Through her recent illness, we have gotten closer. I realized that I needed to be always there for her. Ophelia is a wonderful friend to many. Embrace her if you're lucky to be one of them, for she's a keeper. She is very selfless and giving. She has great love and passion for the elderly. I became more aware of that side of my sister when I saw how she embraced an elderly lady at the Dominica Council on Aging, where she does volunteer work and is ending her second term as president. Congratulations, Ophelia. Love
Hi,
you.
I am Londrina Joseph Hughes, and I am honored to salute you, Ophelia You've been a role model for me from the time we became friends, although you may not have known it then. I remember you being my French teacher at the Dominica Grammar School and how dedicated you were at your job. You always found time to talk with and encourage me in a positive way when I did not understand how to conjugate certain verbs, especially. You were successful in organizing and creating the DGS Chorale, which I was a member of, encouraging students to share their voices in a positive way. You gave us lots of exposure. You took us to the Fort Young Hotel, you took us to the Old Mill Cultural Center, amongst others, to share our voices with others. And we did that very successfully with you as our leader. You always find time to help others in whatever way you can, and you give your best in the Council of Aging organization. I think your life is dedicated to the young, the old, and the in-between. Your life encompasses everyone. Everyone you meet, everyone you see, in whatever way you can help them, you lend a helping hand. Your voice is still as captivating as ever and seems to grow richer with age, although you are not old. One of the things I admire so much in you is your faith. Your faith in God is awesome. You never give up believing in Him. There were times when I felt down and out, and you spoke to me about having faith in God, and all will be well with God, you said. And you prayed with me, for me during these times, and helped me to get better. Through your medical trials, you never give up. And this shows how strongly you believe in God. I salute you, my friend. I salute you today and every day.
My name is David Augustine, driver of Supreme Taxi Services. I've been in the tourist business for over 20 years by now. Then I get contact with OPHELIA. I used to work for transporting the passengers for OPHELIA, Share OPHELIA. And whenever I pick up the French people on the port, the first thing they tell me, they don't even care about where they are living. All they want to do is to see OPHELIA. And whenever we arrive at Share OPHELIA, all the people are excited. All on the way, they talk about OPHELIA, how she's a great lady, how she had done a lot for the French cruise ship, the French business. She has helped Dominica a lot, like bringing the French people into Dominica. A lot of people come Dominica just because of OPHELIA. They told me whenever she's come to Martinique or Guadeloupe, she's like their mother. She's like a god to them. And OPHELIA have done a lot for the French tourists. Yeah, we say French tourists. So she's a lady. She's just a star, and I've learned a lot from her. A lot of my experience with French, I've been from OPHELIA. She would teach me different French words and how to talk to the people, and so OPHELIA was a very, very great person. She's still a great person. So I think she need to we need to recognize OPHELIA. Some people might not know, but when it comes to the French tourists, OPHELIA is the boss. She's the person for that. She marketed Dominica very well in the French countries and so on. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Gordon Henderson. It is indeed an honor for me to express a few words of congratulations to OPHELIA, a fellow artist and friend, on the occasion of receiving this prestigious recognition. I was introduced to OPHELIA somewhere in the late 1970s by her husband, my friend Mark, and we immediately undertook a music recording project, which later propelled OPHELIA to the ranks of the Trailblazers. At that time, Caribbean men pursuing careers in music were not held in high esteem, and it was much harder for women. Despite that fact, Ophelia took what appeared to be a leap of faith, since many popular female Caribbean Creole singers today were involved in singing but did not dare risking their reputations by singing or even recording Creole music. We can safely say, to Ophelia's credit, that she brought a ray of respectability to an activity in which women of the Caribbean were looked down upon. The Jocelyn Berrois of the world, as well as the current lady singing stars, and I repeat, singing stars and not the swinging stars of Dominica, they can say a hearty thank you to Ophelia. Once Ophelia had attained public acceptance, mainly in the French overseas departments of Martinique, Guadeloupe, French Guyana, and the population of these departments resident in metropolitan France, she also became a household name in Dominica, which she often reminds us is not her native land, but her ultimate homeland, for being the native land of her parents, and for obvious other reasons. As an artist, I had the privilege over the years of working with Ophelia in various recording studios in different countries, as well as sharing the stage for live performances around the world. Dominica and the Caribbean should be proud of this Dominican who is so much more than the Lady of Song.
My soul magnifies the Lord. My soul magnifies the Lord. My soul magnifies the Lord. My soul magnifies the
I'm sure 150% of my audience tonight can identify with that song.
My spirit has joy in the Lord our God, for His lifted above
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're wondering what's happening tonight on what was supposed to be the Global View on Q, we are honoring our 10th honoree tonight on Kudos for Heroes. And that is none other than the voice that you hear right now.
He's done mighty things, and holy is His name, and His mercies on all those who fear, and the strength of His arm has scattered the
You know, Randy, you're having a program tonight. You're not in this for dance this evening. Ah, my goodness.
Maybe we might just give the audience a little
Sure.
history behind the song there.
Yeah, probably you should.
The song there was written by one of the Q95's heroes, Alwyn Bully.
Okay.
And the band playing the Swinging Stars band with Norman later, Bing on the trumpet, Norman on the saxophone, of course,
Right.
and Norman Dorival on the trombone, And Julie Marta is the guy playing the keyboards that you're
Mhm.
hearing there, yeah. And it was recorded in SEM Studio on Vicurapo Road in Port of Spain,
Wow.
in Trinidad. And the engineer who was engineering it there was Bill, the guy and this guy there, what's his name? He just suing Trump there for using his song. Eddie Grant.
Eddie Grant,
Okay.
okay.
Favorite engineer.
Oh, wow.
Who has been the engineer who's been coming to Dominica from Trinidad to do the World Creole Music Festival. Frank Agarat is the engineer.
Okay. All right.
So that's a little history of this connected to the song. It's written by Alwyn Bully and sung by Ophelia, and the accompaniment is done by the Swinging Stars. Not the Singing Stars, but the Swinging Stars.
I'm glad you said that, because like I believe, and lots of people believed, and I think Dr. George mentioned it tonight, that's one of the songs that anytime you hear it, it does something to you, right? And everybody sings it.
Absolutely, and I have a collection of all Kadas Lipso songs that were ever produced, and this is my second favorite of all. The first is Diamac Creole by Gordon, but this one, and it forever sounds like it's the latest.
Yeah.
Whenever I hear it, I feel affectionate. There is something very spiritual, deep-rooted spirituality about this particular song. No matter how many times you hear it, that you feel certainly blessed and you feel part of the song. And to actually hear Ophelia singing that live, it's a treat.
Always.
Even I glanced at her and I even felt the song resonating with her. And that is the power of that particular song.
Yes.
You know?
So that's one of the songs, like I said, that anybody, anywhere, anytime sings it, and every time you hear it, like I said, you're right, it does the same thing all the time.
When
And,
I sing it, I hear a choir singing with me.
Right.
Every time. And I closed my eyes a while ago because I was getting that particular sentiment.
I can well identify with that. I can understand that totally. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what we're doing tonight. We're honoring Ophelia, and every now and then you'll hear a little bit of that music, and we'll hear everything else about Ophelia as we come down. Now this segment of the voice notes that you're going to listen to, you need now to either put your French cap or your Creole cap on, okay? and what you don't understand, call Wadix. And they will tell you exactly what that is.
Mr. G is from Granby.
I know that don't mean nothing.
Pastor Rodney Usaki,
Hello.
This Mr. G is from Granby. Don't mean nothing.
Hello.
Yeah. Boss were Dion. Boss were Mosavu Semun Baou Semun Lasava.
Merci autant.
Oui. Mais Aïssa yo gadi Mr. G Semun Guabila. Sapanye himu veve kuyo.
You don't take me with that bit, you know. that bit, Wadik's there to talk for me tonight. Don't worry.
Exactly.
I have people on my side. I have Ophelia, I have Malka on my side. So, Pastor Rodney, one other thing I wanted us to do, before we kind of go to the next segment with the voice inserts, we have quite a few people who are following us on Facebook and on YouTube. I really would like us to acknowledge them because I know they're going to be with you and the numbers are going to grow. I want to ask Dr. Simone for just 1 second if she could just, to shout out some of those.
Yes, Mr. G. I've been closely monitoring our Facebook audience. We have almost 100 people on the Facebook Live. So they're certainly here in addition to our audience via the radio and various platforms. And they're here to celebrate Ophelia. We have lots of congratulations coming in, including from Sonia Akpa from Keck. We are both members of Keck, including Wadix as well, members of Keck. And Sonia is here to say congratulations. We have Waters Edge, Annette Phillip, Terry Ann Bino. Hi, Terry Ann. She's on the live. And she says, Ophelia Marie, love you plenty. We have the last name man. Peony Shirley says, I'm looking and enjoying the program of culture. We have Raymond Lawrence is here with us. He says, congratulations to Ophelia, a true Dominican cultural icon. She has really distinguished herself in culture, and her name, personality, and achievements continue to be celebrated locally, regionally, and internationally. God bless you richly, Ophelia, and may you continue to be a shining light in the world. Anton George is also here, and he says, bless up family, great job. As for Ophelia, no praise is too much for you when it comes to Calypso music. I was in Martinique while you were having your best days. I saw you rock the Martinician crowd. At that time, I was playing with Zion Train. You command respect for your people. Thank you very much for the job well done. And David Joseph is also here, Jennifer Coffey. So we have quite a number of comments coming in on the Facebook Live. And of course, now we're over 100 since we've said that. So don't forget, you can join in the conversation on Facebook and YouTube at Q95 FM Radio. So we'll go back over to the studio and we'll come back to take some additional comments later in the program.
Thank you, Simone.
Yes, I also want to just big up the vibrant senior citizens, about 50 young ladies and one gentleman. They are all tuned up. They're all tuned. And the Association for the Elderly, they are all listening. Myself and Ophelia are members of the both, and they're sending messages all over. So the vibrant senior citizens, Rado and the entire vibrant senior citizens are all over listening.
I know.
So we are listening far and wide.
Of course, of course. We have to be listening far and wide. We're honoring Ophelia.
Of course.
Right.
Of course.
We have to be listening to far and wide. Okay, let's go across now and take some of these voice notes, ladies and gentlemen. And like I said, some of them will be in French and or Creole. You just pay some attention to them, all right?
Bien bonjour, Jean-Michel Samba de la Guadeloupe. Donc, artiste, musicien, chanteur, guitariste, percussionniste. Donc, en cabine là pour voyer un message pour Ophélia. Ophélia qui versait à dit enfant sans moins, parce que là où on a enlevé Marie-Galante, eh ben, tout le monde Marie-Galante a plongé derrière télé là pour te regarder Ophélia. Et le linge a été toujours original. Donc vraiment, c'est pour dire que depuis dans tes petits, on a déjà aimé Ophélia. Et puis, tout pendant qu'on grandit, on a rêvé de voir sur scène devant moi. Et c'est en ce sens-là ça que, en tant que président du mouvement culturel Mascaclé, que ni 5 ans de ça, on fait venir à un week-end culturel. Et grâce à Karine Fleming, nous avons rencontré à la Dominique et nous échanger et en toute simplicité et ouvrir un week-end culturel à Mascaclé qui a pensé qu'il n'y a pas qu'à oublier. Alors tout ça là pour dire qu'on a que Jean, moi aimé Jean-Michel Samba, Jean la Guadeloupe aimé et nous pas dire que solide pas la guerre parce que à des Caraïbes là où sont ambassadeurs de la musique créole, ambassadeurs en tant que femme, en femme potomitan, et qui a voué, ça nous a dit qu'il t'y monté, qu'il t'y a Caraïbes là, et plus précisément qu'il t'y a la Dominique. Donc, bah, en l'eau jeunesse, envie de chanter et de rêver. Voilà. Donc, alors moi, moi Jean-Michel Samba, tiens fort, et nous pas qu'à laguer aïen, et que bon Dieu, pas j'ai qu'à oublier, toute petite taille, parce que l'univers, toujours qu'à garder, ça y quoi crier la mémoire. Au nom de Dieu.
My name is Karen Fleming and I work as a journalist and PR in Guadeloupe. Well, Ophelia is a name that I've known since I was a little child. Her songs were playing at the radio and I really, really like I Dominic. This is a song I could listen to 10 times in a row without even being tired. I know all the lyrics. And till this day, this is a song that I like a lot. I actually met Ophelia in 2016 when she was invited by the leader of the Mouvement Culturel Mascaquet, Jean-Michel Samba, to perform at the final show of this event. And I was in charge, on top of my PR mission, of being the translator of Ophelia, and also I would cater her needs. You know, take her to lunch, take her to dinner. She needed to do, you know, to go buy something. I would be the one who would be in charge of that. That was a very pleasant job. Very kind people, Ophelia and her husband, Mary, here. And very professional also. And that was a good experience. But what really touched me during this event is when Ophelia went on stage for the final show. She actually took the time to thank me and mention my name while she was on that stage. And yeah, it brought tears in my eyes. It was a very, very intense moment. I must say, I had a very intense week because on top of the 2 previous missions that I mentioned, I was also in charge of hosting a live TV show that Guadeloupe Premiere was doing on the event. So sometimes during that week, I could feel very tired and I had little moments of loneliness. I think she picked up all of that. And that's the reason why she did that. It was a beautiful moment. Thank you, Ophelia. I'm very glad to know that you're being honored in this way today. And well, love you. Take care and see you soon.
Bien, bonjour, tout le monde Dominique. C'est Pierre-Édouard Décimus, fondateur à Cassave, et puis Georges Décimus, et puis Jacob. Et a dit un bel rouleau bravo pour Ophélia, puisque a travaillé longtemps, et puis Ophélia, les bassistes, et puis les Vikings, qui étaient accompagnés Ophélia dans le concert Ophélia fait, Guadeloupe, Martinique, Guyane. Et a changé, émigration, morceau-là, émigration. Tout le monde, plutôt qu'on est si a resté ici. Ah ben, ça a enregistré dans le même studio que a fait les premiers Cassaves, et puis Jacob et Georges, et même l'année que nous avons joué sous Cougnan. Alors, a dit, pour moi, rouleau bravo Ophélia, parce que c'est premier grand diva que public francophone, Guadeloupe, Martinique, Guyane, c'est les gens commencé à apprécier en pile. Avant, Ophélia était une chanteuse, mais il n'y a pas tenu autant de popularité qu'Ophélia. Et on y en pile admiration pour Ophélia, qui c'est une grande madame qui connaît chanter, qui connaît travailler, qui a chanté, ni tellement l'amour pour pays et pour toute la Caraïbe. Alors, on a profité des radios là pour dire Ophélia merci. En même temps, on a dit Dominique merci parce que nous en chanteuse comme Ophélia. Alors, c'est Roudizot qui m'en a eu, c'est Pierre-Édouard Décimus, fondateur à Cassave, et puis Jacob, et puis Georges Décimus, frère, qui aussi bassiste comme moi-même. Alors, aimé Dominique, moi-même, envie de rester Dominique parce que grand-maman, papa nous, c'est mon Dominique. Donc, Annie, Dominique, a coulé à ça, moi, à ça, a considéré moi presque comme un Dominique. Ophélia, bravo, continuez, longue vie, Ophélia.
Bel bonjour, bel bonsoir. Nous allons parler de qui mon Ophélia. Mais pour parler d'Ophélia, on va parler de ambassadrice, la Dominique. Et c'est madame qui entre en tête tout le monde. Il vient considérer c'est nous, considérer c'est famille nous. Parce que tout ça, il a dit à nous qu'à vivre les pays. Tout ça, il a chanté à nous qu'à vivre les pays. Et moi, j'ai l'occasion participer à dans même soirée, on nous peut dire. Même stage là, quoi. Nous partager ça. Et puis, entendre M. Rodriguez, Michel Rodriguez et Oldespo Guadeloupe. Ça t'est chaud là. Et Ophélia, c'est un grand monde. C'est un exemple là, pour Caraïbes là. Il a fait moi changer des mondes comme Emeline Michel. Il a fait moi changer des mondes comme Sylviane Sedia. C'est des mondes qui a 20 pays. Dans tout ça, il a fait. C'est PIA, c'est Dominica, quoi. Et moi, vie jeune Ophélia à un festival là, justement. Et nous jouons le même podium là encore. Nous jouons. Et moi, j'ai joué très bon nez, mais bon. L'essentiel, c'était d'y participer. Donc, voilà. Merci en pile Ophélia pour carrière la Cornillon. Merci en pile pour tout ça qu'on a fait le monde. Dominique, mais le monde aussi.
Bonjour à toutes et à tous. Je suis Jacob Delson, je suis vice-président de la région Guadeloupe, président de la commission culture de cette même région Guadeloupe. Accessoirement, je suis chanteur de goka et responsable d'un groupe de musique traditionnelle qui s'appelle Soleil Noir. J'étais tout jeune, je suis membre du cercle culturel moulien. Nous nous apprêtions à faire un voyage à la Dominique. Subitement, la soufrière fait des siennes, mais une chanson va éclairer nos journées. Cette chanson s'intitule Aïe Dominique. Elle est interprétée par une jeune femme à l'époque frêle, mais avec une voix merveilleuse et avec ce don, je dirais, d'illuminer la chanson. Depuis ce jour, cette chanson est restée dans ma tête. Il n'y a pas si longtemps encore, à peu près 2-3 ans, je suis allé à la Dominique pour honorer cette personne, Ophélia, puisque c'est d'elle qu'il s'agit. Et donc, il y avait une grande manifestation qui avait été organisée à son honneur. Et j'avais cet honneur-là de représenter la région Guadeloupe. Je peux vous dire que, en déambulant dans les rues de la Dominique, j'ai pu apprécier comment Ophélia, cette femme magnifique, était appréciée, aimée des Dominicains. Et donc, le problème qui s'est posé pour moi, c'est de dire, mais comment cette personne-là ait autant d'amour, de cote dans son pays? Et puis, véritablement, au moment de la fête, je me suis rendu compte que Ophélia est une personne remarquable, est une illustre personne de son pays. Mais cette chanson qui avait fait d'elle une icône de la musique à la Dominique, eh bien, est restée à trotter dans ma tête. Et c'est vrai qu'aujourd'hui qu'elle est devenue une businesswoman, qu'elle a investi dans son pays, qu'elle continue à chanter, qu'il y a des groupes de femmes autour d'elle, d'hommes qui, dans son association, je pense, sont en train, je dirais, de l'accompagner. Je voudrais dire véritablement que j'étais un homme heureux d'avoir rencontré Ophélia, d'avoir discuté avec elle. J'ai même été hébergé dans sa structure. En tous les cas, je voudrais dire à Ophélia de continuer. Elle fait un travail formidable à la Dominique, avec les jeunes, avec les moins jeunes. Rouleau bravo et force pour continuer le travail qu'elle fait. Merci beaucoup.
My name is Marino El Kataye, and I've been the head of the international department at the Martinique Chamber of Commerce and Industry for more than 25 years. As I was a young international business advisor, I had the honor to meet Ophelia as I was organizing a trade mission to Dominica in her role of ambassador of the island of Dominica. I knew her as an artist and as a friend of my father, who is the director of one of the biggest choir in Martinique. What I can say is that she has dedicated her celebrity to promote her island and more widely the Caribbean as one. Her mastering in Creole, French, and English made her the best person to gather what could be seen as different countries in the region, different cultures as one. She would also take the opportunity to come to Martinique and Guadeloupe to promote the island of Dominica through different trade shows and to have more visitors to come in the island. She would be the representatives of tourism because of her famous figure and she was inspiring. She was a lady inspiring the whole Martinique, Guadeloupe, and I guess Dominica population. And she would serve that cause through her celebrity. She would serve the island and the Caribbean. Therefore, I would resume Ophelia's quality as authentic, humble, generous, respect of herself and others. We can also recognize her tremendous work to the tourism sector and in particular to welcome the tourists from Martinique and Guadeloupe. She made sure that the touristic products offered by Dominica were complying to what the French islands would expect. And that contributed to increase the volume of people coming from Martinique and Guadeloupe to Dominica. Ophelia to me is a person driven by passion, and she has incredible principles and values. She is also thoughtful beyond expectations, and she never forgets her friends. I can tell that regarding my father, and she has a strong work ethic also. To my opinion, Ophelia is one person who has made a lasting impact on her community and the people of Dominica and the people of the Caribbean.
You know, you heard there a lot of the French guys talk about that song, I Dominique. And I know lots of you as well, you know, you may not be able to say the whole thing, but the I Dominique were me. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight, the 10th day of May 2022, we're honoring our 10th honoree. And that is the lady of song here in the lovely Commonwealth of Dominica, Ophelia Olivache Marie. I'll give you a chance a little later to bring in and call in and talk to us a little bit. All I'm going to ask is that when you call, you have about 120 seconds with me, so we can get everybody else in. All right. Before you call, though, sometime maybe in the next 10 minutes, I'm going to ask Mark to tell us a little bit about that Ophelia, not just the one we hear about on the radio. Before that, we have a few more voice notes to take, just about 4 of them. So whatever you're doing tonight, pause with us. I know some of you are already calling, but give me a few minutes, okay? And we'll get down to that. I want to dance tonight, like I said. Mark, good evening again to you. Let's hear a little bit from you.
I wanted to say there was Pierre Edouard Decimus, who was the founder of CASAV, was talking about, people might not have understood it, but the song, we started the recording at a little studio he had in Petapit, anyway, that's close to where the BNP bank was there, which people in Guadeloupe would know. Two Fede, actually, that's the name of the tower. And it's Jacob Desvarieux worked with us to get the brass section set up so we could record it in France and mix it. And on that album, Jacob Desvarieux is playing guitar on one of the songs because he wanted to play guitar by all means, Ophelia. So he played guitar. So it was a ballad type of song. And in point of fact, Pierre, I was just talking with him there tonight before we came here. He's in Paris there now because he's starting a publicity campaign for a book on Casa, which is just launching these days there now. And I might do the English translation for him.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Yeah. So
good collaboration there.
Casa coming out pretty soon.
Yeah. Okay. Very, very good. Thanks for that information.
I just wanted to add to Mark. I mean, Pedro he was the leader of CASAV and a heavyweight in terms of music and reputation in the French Antilles. And very importantly, he spoke about Ophelia as the first. There were other women,
but she was,
and critically, she was the woman who actually broke through for all the other women that actually came after. And this is critical, because there is a Dominican, Dominican, Curacao, Dominican. We live in it as Dominican, that powerful. And I can testify to that because I have been through the French Antilles now for about 40 years. And I can testify once you hear the name Ophelia, there is something that resonates with the people. Because you see, one of the things that was very critical during those days is she was respected because she was also a married woman.
Right. And I wanted to come to that in a while, Alex. But before that, I want to go back and revert to make a comment both on what Matt said in regard to the guy from Casa. When somebody of that stature could listen to you and actually respect what you do to the extent that they actually sell you their mark, right? And have you do that kind of recording. It means that they have not just an ordinary regard and respect for that music. It means that they have recognition of what Ophelia was doing at the time.
Absolutely.
Well, actually, we should put it the other way around. Ophelia will give them
the opportunity then
to do that. Right. But then I'm thinking through what Gordon said, right? Because one of the points that Gordon made earlier on is that it was not even easy for men to get there, and it was a man's world then. So for a woman, it was pretty difficult.
Was the same period was there. I was talking to them a couple of months ago there, and we were talking about when we went to do the first show in Martinique, where he was the bass player there and so on. And there was this autograph session where on Rue Lamartine, if people who know Fort-de-France, and there was a veritable riot in the street that the police gendarme had to come and clear the street. And I was speaking to him and I was telling him, well, yeah, that was an interesting thing. And then he's telling me, yeah, that was his first time he ever saw that himself, because I had thought that sort of thing happened every so often. But they said, no. That's the thing he used to hear about happening in France or wherever. That was the first time that he had actually witnessed anything like that in Martinique or in Guadeloupe.
Let me just explain what Mark is saying. For people, there were so many people trying to get the autograph of Ophelia that it actually caused a riot. I mean, the gendarme had to come and actually clear the road because she was so popular.
She was. I mean,
well, still is.
Yeah,
she's Mama Creole.
we one of the ways that I got. I mean, and you both you and Mark and Ophelia will recall that a couple of years we brought a couple of French groups down here.
When you're at the festival,
right? But they insisted they want to go by Ophelia. Now, even if I wanted to bring them somewhere else, I couldn't have, because that's where they want to go. And there were people among them who just said all they want to do is see her.
Yes.
They just want to see her, and that's fine for them.
But also very critical.
Yeah, I just want to say that I was reflecting, reflecting thing. A couple weeks ago there. But as far as I can tell, Ophelia, at the time she started singing, and even like for many years after, was the only person in the Caribbean who had a university degree who was involved in singing or music for her living, or any artistic discipline, in fact, doing it for their living, person with a university degree. So it was,
it's a first, it's history, it's historic.
Respected from all perspectives.
Yeah. Also, one of the two of the people that gave short speeches. One came down at the Mama Creole show. Yeah. Mark brought him down and really made a big presentation to Ophelia, and promised Ophelia that every Kassav concert live on stage, that she would be part of it. Live on stage, she told everybody that look, every Kassav concert from now, Ophelia is going to be part of it. And there was another artist, Dede Sepui, he plays Cheval Bois. Very, 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 I spoke to him backstage, and all he could talk about was Ophelia. Ophelia, Wadi, Ophelia. And that is the level of respectability she commanded. And sometimes as a Dominican, I just wish we could have just embraced her like that here. Sometimes I know Mark continued to say, yes, we do. But sometimes I wish we could do like the French do. The French virtually, honor, salute her on a daily basis.
They made her theirs, almost.
And those who have been around Ophelia would understand she has that abundance of giving herself. She may not even be feeling well, you wouldn't know, but she will still give of herself. No matter what, she will just give. That abundance of care and love, man, it's a tremendous treat to just be aligned. By the way, she got me in the Vibrant Senior Citizens and the Council on Aging.
Yeah, he's the PRO for the Council on Aging.
So I heard.
And you see, it's a dream because she's so rich. And what I mean, we don't touch about it much, but she's so deeply spiritual. She has an abundance of faith, Pastor. That sometimes I tell myself, boy, I wish I could have Ophelia's faith. She's so, but then, that is the lady we are honoring.
Pastor Rodney, can I chime in a minute?
You'll have to have your own faith, right?
Yes.
Yes, Simon.
Yes. And not only was it a challenge for Ophelia being a woman, but we recently had a program, and one of the things that she revealed was that she refused to compromise her standards.
Yes.
Right. So I'm not sure if you remember that, Ophelia, but you talked about not dressing a certain way, refusing to sing certain lyrics because you maintained your standards. And that is why at the beginning I mentioned that you're such an important role model for us, because in this world of Instagram, in this world where, women are on the media half naked, shaking everything they have. The fact that despite being a woman, you would think, you would have to put yourself out there, be extravagant to draw the attention. Rather, you drew the attention to yourself by upholding your standards. And that is one of the reasons that we celebrate you today, for maintaining your standards and still, reaching the pinnacle of success.
I haven't listened to very many artists from Dominica who have sung the majority of their material for Dominica, to elevate Dominica, the patriotism. And like you heard, one of the people spoke about her representing, and they even call her an ambassador.
Yeah, they call me that, and I'm saying, but why
And
are
she
they calling
isn't.
me that?
She isn't an ambassador.
Well, let's put it that way. She's not an appointed ambassador, but she is doing ambassadorial duties.
Yes.
And that's a fact, Ophelia.
This ambassador business there almost got Ophelia into some kind of trouble, because once we were invited to perform at the Fête Patronale, the city of Basse there, and it's a big thing. There's this marching band, and then afterwards there's this big brunch, I suppose we'd call it, with champagne and the whole ta-la-la, and then speeches and politics and so on. And then we came a little late to the event where the speeches had started already, and then the people stopped and then gave us a seat and so on. And from then on, everybody started addressing Ophelia.
Madame l'ambassadrice. Yes.
Madame l'ambassadrice. Yes. And at the end of the event, when the drinks and so on start flowing, here comes a real ambassador. He says, "Oh, but I didn't see your name on the
on the protocol list."
Since when have you been appointed ambassador? We feel like to say, well, no, I'm not a real ambassador. That's a metaphorical.
Yes.
Ambassador.
Yes.
It was a little.
But the truth is, the reality is that in all her undertakings, she lifted the country.
Yes.
And that's what a real ambassador does, in that regard. So we honor you for that. We honor you for that. I love the fact that, and it's mentioned tonight, and I probably would have mentioned it later on, but it was mentioned tonight that you held on to particular standards.
Yes.
The field that you are in, women almost think that they have to do a certain something to promote themselves.
Gyration.
But you're close outside.
Like
but
everything that God gives you has to be shown, and that is not shown.
But you kept your standard, and not just kept your standard. You have presence when you take the microphone.
Yes.
And anybody who understands anything about that and public speaking and public image knows that you walk onto the stage and you command presence. You command presence without tutuning yourself. If I may use that made of wood. All right, folks, let's take a pause, and we're going to get a few of these notes, and we'll get a little bit of Creole from Mr. G, and I will ask Mark some questions this evening. Let's just take these 4 notes here, these 4 voice notes. Let's do this one from Rosie out of St. Lucia.
I am Rosemary Husbands Mathre, former President of the Senate and Speaker of the House of Parliament of St. Lucia, and currently the Parliamentary Commissioner for Public Administration. Ophelia and I met at Cave Hill campus in the 1970s. We sang in the Caveite Chorale, to which Ophelia brought her own style and culture, a unique flavor to the blend of rich Caribbean voices. Our friendship grew over the years, and Ophelia responded to every call from St. Lucia for performance, whether it was for the church or for any other event, as long as it had to do with music, the food of love. We joined further in our work as Ophelia visited St. Lucia every January to celebrate with the Johnson Retreat Home for the Care of the Elderly, which gave evidence, I think, to her compassionate and generous heart for the elderly. After the passage of Hurricane Maria in Dominica, Ophelia made a request for cleaning items for Dominica, and we responded with 100 5-gallon buckets filled with cleaning items and 50 baby buckets with items for infant, all sent to the Catholic Church for distribution. The members of my family, especially my dad, love this queen of song called Ophelia, and we have followed her musical journey over the years. And as Dominica crowns her with a national award, we applaud her for her meritorious and distinguished service. We implore all of God's richest blessings of peace, joy, love, and health in all her futures and endeavors. Fifi, as she's called at home, we love you.
Jeff Chandler, Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. In 1992, as a member of the Carifesta International Relations Committee, chaired by Lystra Lewis, I had the opportunity to welcome to Trinidad and Tobago many very important guests. One of them was Dominica's Lady of Song. Trinidad and Tobago was again pressed into service in 1995, hosting Carifesta, and we had to again welcome to Trinidad and Tobago Mama Creole. Mama Creole was the ultimate performer and made my work easy, to the extent that I remember taking the liberty of asking her not to perform without shoes on stage. Ophelia and her band were invited to perform in Trinidad and Tobago on many occasions, and on each occasion, somehow I would be involved with some aspect of the preparations, radio and TV interviews, and other promotional stuff. Two of my favorite tunes from Mama Creole were I, Dominique, and Dingole by Trinidad and Tobago's Mighty Shadow. I don't know if any of those renditions were responsible for the Caribbean Icon Music Award Ophelia received. Ophelia's many visits to Trinidad and Tobago included all Carifestas, Tobago Heritage Festival, the Emancipation Support Committee shows, Hotel Normandy Under the Trees with a live Jingping band, Queen's Hall, and of course our Prime Minister Manning's command performance, to which she was invited. All these shows were breathless, as Blacks, Dexter Stewart would say. On behalf of all the cultural supporters and fans in Trinidad and Tobago, I wish Ophelia all the best going forward. Thank you.
Hello, hello, Cynthia Boudine Attali, productrice, organisatrice et chargée de promotion artistique. J'ai le plaisir de vous parler d'Ophélia. Alors, cette grande dame, cette déesse de la musique caribéenne a bercé mon enfance parce qu'en fait, tous les dimanches, à l'époque des vinyles, ma mère programmait de l'Ophélia. Et il y a un titre qui a marqué en fait toute la Caraïbe et les Antilles, c'est Aïe Dominique. Et cette chanson que nous écoutions en boucle à la maison, c'était vraiment important pour nous parce que c'était une femme de la Caraïbe. Donc on se sentait vraiment honoré de cela et très fière. Et après, plus tard, donc j'ai eu la chance de la programmer, de la rencontrer, de la programmer dans des scènes en Guadeloupe. Ça a été un honneur, hein, ça a été un plaisir pour moi de produire cette grande dame, cette déesse de la musique caribéenne. C'est une voix de par sa sagesse, sa douceur. Alors, Ophélia, j'ai envie de te dire merci. J'ai envie de te dire continue à nous réchauffer le cœur. Je t'aime. À très bientôt. Bye.
I am Dr. Kimon Joseph, head of UWI Open Campus in Dominica. So Ophelia is affectionately referred to as Dominica's Lady of Song. She graduated from UWI Kerrville in 1976 with a general degree in French, English, and sociology. So Ophelia has given Best National Service as a secondary school teacher of French, an assistant coordinator of the Social League, Youth Center Manager, Chief Cultural Officer, Deputy Director of Tourism, and National Coordinator of the Anchor Project. In 2012, the University of the West Indies, Kerrville, awarded Ophelia for her work in Caribbean music. She is also a member of the St. Luke's School Hall of Fame because of her contribution to music and community service in Dominica. And in recognition of her work and the service that she has given, the UWI Open Campus in Dominica awarded Ophelia the UWI Alumni Award for Arts and Culture in November of 2015. Ophelia has been a proud graduate of the University of the West Indies, always ready and willing to assist in service to the university. She has assisted us on numerous projects and conferences and continues to be always available to us whenever we need her. We're very proud of her. She has that sort of spirit that we look for in our alumni, and it is a pleasure for us to send our own greetings to her on this occasion where she is being honored. So Ophelia, we wish you all the best as you continue to shine in Dominica, in the Caribbean, and in the world.
Gloria, 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 Gloria. Bon dépit nous actuellement. Gloria, 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 Gloria. Nous comptons sur Jésus qui est par nous la vie. Gloria, 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 Gloria. Dis-nous qui nous oye qui a chanté. Dis-nous faisons gammes so belles. Avec nous, bis nous sorti hot bon Dieu. Nous a fait ça yo dit nous en ciel.
12 minutes after 9 o'clock on a Tuesday evening. This is a special Tuesday evening, all right. Kudos for Q is honoring its 10th hero, Ophelia. Let me turn my attention to Ophelia's husband, Mark. Mark, you've been married to this lady for a long time.
Yeah, sure.
And we know her as the singer, as the cultural icon, as the this and the that. And you know her as that as well.
Right.
But before all of that, you know Ophelia.
Yeah.
The Ophelia. Tell us a little bit about this lady.
Oh. Well, I met Ophelia first at the convent high school when we were in 6th form.
You were not supposed to meet her there back.
Well,
in school.
We met because there was a bit of a peculiar problem. At the time, there was no 6th form college or C4 call or whatever.
Right.
So the schools had their own 6th form, you know.
Arrangement.
Yeah.
So, but a situation arose in the teaching of the students, in that the academy, which is a Catholic school, and the convent high school is a Catholic school, had a little bit of problem in having sufficient teachers to teach the subjects they wanted to teach. So it was agreed that some subjects would be taught at the convent high school and some subjects would be taught at the academy. So French was one of the subjects that was taught at the convent high school. So I went to the convent high school for French 6th form, for A levels, which I got a distinction in, by the way. And Ophelia came to the SMA for mathematics.
Okay.
Right.
Used to carry my books.
Right.
I excuse you now.
Right. So that's where I first met Ophelia, in French class.
Right.
And as she says, I could read French well, so she liked to hear me read. Yeah. So that's where I learned a lot of French and stuff, and that's where I met Ophelia. Yeah. And then when I took the A-level exams, and actually there were 2 of us who were due for the Island Scholarship, and the other person, the Cambridge University suggested that the other person probably got a couple marks more than me in some subjects or the other, so the scholarship went to that person. And then I got another scholarship from the government of Canada. And I went off to Keyville to study economics and history. Actually, I signed up for French for 1 week, and then I dropped French because somebody came and said, you guys who would like to study be economists, there's a course in statistics which you think you should take. So since you could only you were taking 3 subjects. I dropped the French, and I took the statistics. So I never continued studying French officially at university. So I studied statistics, history, lots of history, and economics. So although I say I'm an economist, I could just easily say I'm a historian because I studied lots of history of North America, history of South America, history of Europe in the Middle Ages, etc., etc.
But I wasn't in school then with him.
Why are you telling me that, Ophelia?
Because he has stories.
But Ophelia had gone off to work,
Right.
teach, etc. And she arrived at the university the year after I left. But at that time, I had gone on to do graduate studies at St. Augustine, the Faculty of Agriculture.
But tell us
my
what kind of
master's degree is actually in agricultural economics. Yeah.
Okay, tell us what kind of person Ophelia is.
Right. Well, when I came back to Dominica, I met up with Ophelia again, and she was supposed to be singing at an event that was being held at the Fortium Hotel. And I went to the practice place, which was at the old grotto, if you want to call it so, to just opposite where the SMA hostel was.
Right.
So I knew the place very well, because I used to live at the hostel, by the way. And I heard her sing. It was the first time I'd heard her sing. And I said, wow, it was like, I heard lots of people sing because I always used to go to all these concerts they had at St. Gerard's Hall on Thursday afternoon, because that was when nobody worked. stores were closed on Thursday
Right,
afternoon.
right,
So that's
right.
when all these events were happening, and then Carib Cinema, Sparrow would come, and I was always there, you know. But when Ophelia sang, I think just singing "In the Sunshine When He's Gone," I say, wow. Well, I'd known the song, you know, it was a popular song. The intonation of her voice and everything was like I'd never heard before, you know. So that stuck in my mind. And well, we started going out later and so on. And then eventually we did get married. I was, I think I was about 27, which made up William and I was about a little bit 26 or so. We got married actually the day before her birthday.
Mm.
Right. So, but in the meanwhile, I had kept in contact with Gordon Henderson all the time, because Gordon Henderson and I were like, in a sense, like brothers. We grew up in the basically at the St. Mary's Academy's hostel. Yeah. And we had even planned to make a band.
John Gordon Henderson.
Yeah, me and
Okay.
Gordon Henderson and Livingston Castle, who became a singer, a calypso singer.
Spencer,
afterwards,
Spencer.
Yes, Spencer, right. Yeah, so, and I was kind of practicing to play the bass and so on. So I could play, Satisfaction on the bass. Rolling Stones, yeah, I could play that. But I never got further into the music, but I kept in touch with Gordon, who continued in the music thing, and then eventually he got into Exile One. And those days, there was no internet, very few telephones, so we used to write letters to each other, so, which took quite a while to go back and forth, but we stayed in contact all the time, you know. And it's when, after I heard Ophelia sing, and I knew Gordon was in the music business and so on there, and I knew some recordings were being made by people in Dominica. So I suggested to him, well, maybe he might want to consider. No, I didn't ask him if he wants to consider. I more or less put it to him to say, well, I have there's this lady here, this girl, woman, or whatever, who is singing so very well and so on. I think, how can she get to make a recording? So Gordon then told me, well, what you should do is make a demo tape and send it for me. So we did the demo tape at Radio Jumbo, which was by at Cicero Hotel. Interestingly enough, it was being managed by the guy called Rodriguez, which is the same person Dede Saint-Prix was talking about what organized the concert in which he played with Ophelia many years later. You know, so you're going around in a small circle, you might say. And yeah, then Gordon said, well, yes, that sounds good. We can do something on that. So in the meanwhile, we are in Dominica here. We go out, we got married. And by the time everything was ready to happen, I had left Dominica, and we were then living in Barbados, because I went back to the university at Keyville to teach economics, where we stayed for 2 years. And then it was from Barbados, we went to Paris to do the recording. And went to Paris via Luxembourg anyway, I could explain the reason why I had to go to Luxembourg rather than anywhere else. Because there's a guy called Freddie Laker who wanted to start an airline. But at that time, you had to have these conventions that you had to allow so many planes to fly from your country to my country and so on. And he had to go through Europe to go to England. He couldn't go from Barbados to England. So he had to went to Luxembourg. And in Luxembourg, by the way, they speak a Creole. It is a kind of a mix-up of English, Flemish, French, and so on, which sounds sounds like Creole. It's a language by itself, but it's not French. It's not, so you could hear English words
and Creole
French words,
Spanish,
Flemish, and sometimes what I assume might be German words. So it's one city. And then we took the train and went down to Paris. and the recording was done. And we arrived at the Gare de l'Est, I remember that, on the Trans-Europe Express. Then we met Gordon, and Gordon arranged to do the recording. But at that time, Gordon was just on the verge of deciding to launch himself out as a record producer. And he decided, well, he would do the recording on his label. And he had the money to do it. I suppose Gordon wouldn't mind me saying that, because he had written a number of songs, most of the songs on the Exile One, so either written by him entirely or he and somebody else in Exile One. And somebody had told him about becoming a member of SASEM, which he did. But well, he more or less did it because he figured these people are in the business and they say to join, well, I should join up. I don't know what will happen. And when he got his first payday, he went to the office and they gave, that time they were still giving checks. He got a check. And then when he saw the check and so on, and he didn't read the check immediately as they gave it to him. He gave it to him, and then later on, when he left the building, he read the check. And the sum of money he saw on the check was so large, he figured that must have been a mistake. Therefore, he didn't cash his check for a couple of days because he expected them to call him back
for it
to say, oh, sorry, there's a mistake on the check. Anyway, but he had a fair amount of money that he had made from that day, and he decided to invest some of it in starting a label to record some of the musicians in Exile One themselves, as well as other persons. So as it worked out, Ophelia was the first artist that Gordon recorded on his label.
On his label, okay.
Right. And it's basically the Exile One.
Called the Soul Tone.
Soul Tone label.
Yeah.
So it was basically the Exile One musicians who performed for Ophelia. And interestingly, it's Gordon in a way that made I Dominic the song it is.
Yes.
Because that's not the rhythm and the beat, the original song that Ophelia sang as I Dominic. Ophelia sang the I Dominic song in 3/4 time or 6/8 time if you want.
Like a
kind of a waltz,
okay.
kind of a style.
I Dominic, dum 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 dum, milk play way like that.
Okay.
Right.
And he said,
yeah.
Gordon said,
yeah. So it's Gordon who said let's do it in 4/4 time.
Yeah.
In the Canada style, and we said, okay, sure, no, because well, I know that I don't know everything.
Right.
So he's been in it all the time.
You took his advice on that.
Yes.
And off it went.
Right.
Good. You and Ophelia have been married for how many years?
I have to use my calculator to calculate.
Boy, if it was me who said in front of my wife, I get a callot.
No, I mean it's so many years. It's not.
But you have been married.
What year it was?
Well, 76, 77.
77.
Oh, that's 45 years.
45 years. 45 years.
All right. So 45 years.
That's all just for the year I stopped smoking cigarettes.
You need to write a book on that. The year I met the woman that I got married that made me stop smoking cigarettes.
Right.
Okay, so for those 45 years you've been married to Ophelia, and 45 years later you'll have done music, but that's not the only thing that you'll have done together. You'll have been, business people, put it that way.
Yes.
And so when I asked the previous question, that's what I'm looking for. What kind of partner is that lady? Like I said, we know her as singing, as a songbird, whatever you want to call her. But
as a wife,
from Mac's perspective, what sort of woman is that as a wife?
Which did this?
Since I've only had one, it's kind of hard to figure.
I mean, to you. I just want to know. I just want the world to know.
Right. Well, What should I say now? Ophelia has been the wife that I wanted.
Good.
That I dreamed about before I got married. You know,
Right.
I just say a person who is understanding and who is educated, because how to put it? I don't want to be sound like boasting or any such thing, but I have a great
You wanted somebody who could
desire,
reason
and
with you.
admiration, and so on for intellectual discourse and that sort of thing. So yes, so the fact that she was well educated and the fact that we both speak French, because sometimes at home for the whole day we speak French, just because we can speak French.
Okay.
So yeah, so it's on that level it's been interesting. And then like we've had the children who actually I never remember chastising any of the children with any physical anything, because my view of children is kind of different from most people's views, I suppose, is that a child is a person just smaller than me, and I can reason with the child and the child will understand. And if the child wants to do something that I don't think child should do, I will reason it out with the child as to why that's not good to do, rather than get angry. And
how many children you have?
Two.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Good. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Mac Murray talking about, you know, the lady that all of you know that sing I Dominic and, you know, Gloria and all of that.
I just wanted to make a correction there.
Yes.
You said that she was doing music and then we got into business. That's not correct. We have been in business all the time.
Okay.
In the music business and in other business.
And the other business.
Yes.
Well said.
That's how we approach it.
Okay.
Yes.
Well said. Well said. Ladies and gentlemen, we're honoring Ophelia tonight, and I'm sure there'll be a few comments coming from the committee, but I'm now going to open the lines. It's already 9:30 on a Tuesday evening. I'm going to open the lines now for those of you who want to call us. I just ask of you to be very prissy what you have to say, you know, and do it in 120 seconds. And we'll be all right, okay? So the numbers to call are 449-3095, 449-3096, 449-3097. You can do the DG thing on 616-4257 on the or the overseas line on 305-432-9624. We are honoring our 10th honoree tonight, Ophelia. Somebody's on telephone. Good evening.
Good evening. I would like to be first to commend Ophelia tonight. Ophelia, this is Saltman. This is Cornelius Murray.
Hi, Salt.
I have been one of the persons that have been following Ophelia for many, many years. And she has been a complete inspiration to me, along with Mark. Whenever I think of money, I think of Mark. Whenever I think of music, I think of Ophelia. I really want to commend her. It would be remiss of me not to call tonight to just show my appreciation and love. And I remember one year she promised me that we'll do a song together. So I hope that this happens before she retires from music. But I'm really proud of you. You have been more than just a singer. You have been a real inspiration to many of us. And I just want to tell you, I love you, and I want to commend the team of Q95 who have put that together. Oftentimes we honor people when they are dead, and you are doing a wonderful, wonderful work, and I really want to commend you guys for that initiative. And once again, I want to just congratulate Auntie Felix, congratulations. Marky, congratulations, and continue what you do.
Yes,
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. On the international line, good evening. We are honoring Ophelia. Hello. Did you change your mind? All right, I'm sure you'll try to call again. Ladies and gentlemen, it's 28 minutes moving up to 10 o'clock on Tuesday evening, that is, and we're honoring Ophelia. Good evening on the telephone.
Good evening, that's Energizer. I just want to tell Ophelia congrats on what she has been doing her music.
Thank you.
And I want to also thank her for giving me that little thing I was doing, like, woo, in my music. Ophelia, thank you very much. And take care. Good night.
Okay, Energizer.
Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night. Now all our lines are going. Good evening. We are honoring Ophelia.
Good evening, Pastor Randy.
Yes. Good evening.
This is Pastor Griffin Daniel here.
I noted the voice.
I am tuned in for a long time, and I am so proud of Ophelia's achievements. Her song has always been a blessing to me, honestly, and the way she ports herself from day one speaks volume. And I really, really want to say to Ophelia, you have done well, and you'll keep doing well. Your songs are a blessing, is a blessing. And listening tonight, I never knew you had so many things at on your side along with you, actually. It really has blessed me to know the kind of person you are, and you represent Dominica in such a brilliant way. And so I just want to pause to say, Ophelia, the Lord continue to bless you, and the Lord continue to lay his hands upon you, and you will see the glory of God. Thank you for being who you are and who you'll continue to be. Thank you for being a blessing, not only to Dominica, but around the world. The
Thank
Lord
you so
richly
much.
bless you, and I'm happy that you have received this award. God bless you, bless you, bless you.
Thank you. Thank you. God bless you too. On the telephone, good evening. We are honoring Ophelia on Tuesday, the 10th of May. Good night.
Hi, good night. Good night. Good night to Mr. J and the others in your panel.
Yes, good night.
And I would like to say good night to Ophelia. Ophelia, this is Chef Romeo.
Hi.
Your old friend. Your old friend.
Wow.
And I just want to take this moment to say to you, congratulations. And I wish you God's blessing. And I want to say that you have been an example and a motivator to the young generation that is coming, and that you set forth a lesson to them that you say, look, if I make it, you can make it. So you give them something to follow. You give them a pattern.
Yes.
And this is great. And thank you so much for what you're also doing for the seniors, which is great. And I'm one person who really cares about seniors and people who are less fortunate. And I just want to say that I hope that God will extend his hands over you and will give you a whole lot of blessings. Will be completely healed altogether. And I know there are many things that you love to do and you continue doing for the people. And I had the privilege meeting your family here in St. Thomas many years ago. And I remember that, I came to Dominica, and you are so humble because you're so sweet. You invited me to your home. And I remember you said, Chef Romeo, here's a knife. I have a ham here. You bought it out. Can you remember that?
I remember
It was
that.
it was one Christmas.
Yes.
So I must say it was a pleasure knowing you, all your family, this Rita and everybody, Carol and Bobby, and it was so nice meeting you. I met some of your cousins here. You are just a wonderful set of people. Your mother was so sweet. She me as her own son when she was in St. Thomas. She had a very good relationship. And your father, and I just say, you deserve every moment and every ounce of this reward that you're getting tonight, and I wish you good luck. And I also want to say hello to Henderson. Henderson, you don't know me as Robbie, but you know me as Clem. Henderson, I heard the gentleman said that some guy was saying that he and Henderson, when they put a band together and they start singing. Well, let me tell you something. Gordon has been singing a long time ago, since his teens. He and I played in the same band in Technics Combo in Portsmouth years ago. Okay. Can you remember me, Anderson? Morgan's brother, Clem Azil.
I think it's you.
But he's not.
I'm not sure.
Gordon is not live with us here now. So he must be listening somewhere. No, he's not live with us now.
But I'm sure
he heard Gordon's voice earlier.
Yeah,
that's why.
All right.
Yes.
But thank you, Romeo.
All the best to you, Ophelia.
All right, thanks.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thanks. God bless you. God bless you. On the telephone, good evening. We are honoring Ophelia.
Good evening, cousin.
What's up, cuz?
I'm fine, cuz. Good evening, Auntie.
Hi, Dudu.
How are you, my darling?
I am fine.
Congrats.
Thanks.
And I'm so proud of you, my dear.
Okay.
So take care. God bless you.
Yes, but which of my nieces is that?
The one you have in Maho.
Oh, okay.
Belfast.
Okay.
Bonjour, Dudu.
Okay, have a blessed night.
Yeah, you as
Okay,
well.
you too.
All right, love you too. Good. Alrighty, goodbye. On the telephone, good evening. We are honoring Ophelia.
Good evening, Pastor Rodney, Jeffrey Brisbane out of Miami.
Good evening, Jeffrey.
Wow.
Hi, Ophi. Hi, Ophi.
Hi, Jeffrey.
I wish you Ophi at the ABC and working on the World Creole Music Festival and Carnival.
Yes.
And I just want to really give her my heart and soul tonight to tell her I admired her all the days of her life in her performances and whatever she did when we were together. And may God continue to bless her and her family in everything she may do. Ophi, all the best, darling, and have a good night.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Nice
Thank you very
to
much.
meet you.
I know I woke up somebody from the bed. Good evening. We are honoring Ophelia.
Yes, good evening, Pastor Randy.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening, Queen, the Queen in the house.
Hello, good evening.
Yes, I have a joke before I give the short contribution. Pastor Randy, wouldn't that sound strange for me to call to comment somebody I do not know?
It can sound strange, but if the person impact you, commend them.
Yes, Pastor Randy, I am from Scottsdale, and this lady is from Point Michel, and I only saw on TV. But you know, something happened to me in 1980. I will never forget that. That's why I told myself I want to call tonight.
All right.
I was in Martinique in 1980, somewhere after the Hurricane David, a young guy growing up, and seemingly she had some kind of concert in Martinique. Pastor Randy and the whole world hearing me. People running from every corner, saying, I said, but why they running like that? They saying a lady from Dominica named and Mary, they call her some and Mary as well.
Ophelia
Murray. Correct. And Pastor, every radio television station have this lady parading, and I felt proud as a Dominican man. So I say, even if I do not know her personally, I want to call tonight, because every time I driving up to Wharton Waven, you know, I'm married to somebody from Wharton Waven, and my wife showed me her house, and every time I driving up the road there when I'm in Dominica, I'm trying to see if I see any yard to see where I see.
Just stop there and go look for her, man. Next time, stop, go and knock the door and say, come and see Ophelia.
That was just on my mind. I said tonight, maybe I'll have to do that sometime. So I just called to tell her thank you for doing a great job for Dominica. I hope all the things that were happening in Dominica will be things like this, that even when people grow to 30, 40 years after, they can remember that. Because it's a long time since 1980 to know, and I never forget that. So Miss Ophelia, keep up the good work. God bless you and good night.
Yes, thank you, man. So thank you. We're drawing close to the end of our program tonight, and so I'm going to let the people I have on my panel there tonight share a few thoughts as we prepare to get into the real meat of the honoring this evening. Mr. J, I don't know if you want to start or if you want to yield to one of the other people on the panel there right now.
Pastor Rodney, I would yield to Dr. Simone in a little bit, because I know she has to leave us in a while, but I just wanted to make a passing comment. I noticed that you were in a very tight spot tonight, so I decided to give you a small ease up. So you tried to bring me into this Creole thing, but I didn't want to make you look bad, because you know my Creole is super.
Your Creole is from Granby.
That's the point. So here's what I wanted to say, Pastor.
In Creole.
Before I yield to Dr. Simone, I wanted to say that, you know something, you asked Matt to speak about Ophelia. Matt spoke about when they were in sixth form. I find Matt didn't tell us the real things. What is you don't find Matt? He has told a lot of stuff.
I agree.
You
Because
know,
you heard the same story from Ophelia. Yeah, he carrying the books. By school, man.
He never tell us all the real
Let
stuff.
me hold on, Mr. G. You and Wadix not digging that up there. No. You're leaving that right where it is there. Mark, you did know what you have to do tonight, okay? And I am controlling those guys there.
Right.
This one who talks Creole and this one who can't talk Creole, we're controlling them tonight. Let me finish, I'll come back to you, Mark.
Let me just leave it there. I will say children are the things saying whoosh to tush. That's all. That's all I have to say. And I will yield to Dr. Simone because I know she has to leave at school.
Dr. Simone, just before you come on, yes, Mark, you were about to say something
I
to
just
us.
wanted to say something there, which I think as you as a pastor, I hope you appreciate it.
Uh-huh.
Is that well, I told you I have a son, yeah. And pretty proud of him that he did one thing. He got married when he was 22 years old.
Okay.
Right. And he is 40 now, and he's going to be married much longer than I will be.
Well, that's wonderful.
And I would recommend it to all the younger people who are listening to us there. Don't wait to get married when you're 50 years old. Yes.
I hope John is hearing that and Corey and the rest. I'm glad you mentioned that, Mark. All I will say is I got married at 22.
I think he's saying that for Wadix.
I wasn't calling names.
But I don't understand. Did you see how I skip everybody?
Yes, I know.
I skipped everybody and went across over there. You went back. Dr. Simon, let's hear from you.
Yes, thank you, Pastor Rodney. And what an incredible celebration this has been. And I cannot think of someone who deserves it more than Ophelia. So again, congratulations, Ophelia. I hope that you will take a couple of minutes and go on Q95 FM radio on Facebook, because there are over 100 comments of congratulations. And especially one coming from Caroline Olivache Bruni. She says, good evening. I'm very excited. So we have a lot of comments that have come in. Jennifer Coffey, congratulations, Lady of Songs. Love her, Dominica Lady. Congratulations, well done. So lots of comments. So when you have a moment, Ophelia, please take some time and maybe respond to some. But I also wanted to leave by saying, many times we talk about how the Kudme spirit is lacking in Dominica. And I just want everyone to know that Ophelia exemplifies that Kudme spirit, because as we already mentioned, not only is she the Lady of Song, but she also is the president of the Council on Aging. She's a member of KEC, where we work together to advance Creole. And also she has been on several of my programs. And the funny thing about it is, when you first meet someone, you're afraid to approach them. I think Mr. G sent me her number because I wanted her on my Creole program. And I was so nervous because I'm thinking, Ophelia is an international superstar. Will she even respond? And she immediately responded. And the only question she had for me was, well, your last name, Matthew, it's spelled a little differently. You can't be Dominican. so once I explained to her that my maiden name is Sedhouse, then she embraced me virtually, and we've been on several programs. So I just want us to know that Ophelia is an example of the Kudme spirit, that spirit of selflessness that we've always known in Dominica. And so many more of us need to step out in that spirit of Kudme just to advance Dominica and be able to just give back to Dominica. So again, congratulations, Ophelia. Congratulations, Mac. And thank you, Pastor Rodney, for being an exceptional host. And, congratulations to the Kudos to Our Heroes Committee. I think we made a wonderful choice, and we look forward to honoring other national heroes in Dominica. So with that, I bid a good evening, good night, and thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here, and
Thank you.
good night, Dr.
Thank you.
Simone.
Okay, I myself do have to move to another appointment. Before I leave, on behalf of the Kudos Committee, I want to give you 2 open tickets via Val Ferry.
Wow.
You could use it. There are coupons, or you could give it to any of your guests. I know you may want to send one of his children to see Wola,
Oh,
possibly.
Okay.
But this is very important to me. And when I spoke to Mr. Gregoire about it, he quickly said yes. So these are 2 open tickets, 2 vouchers to 2 open tickets. You can use it anytime for a whole year.
Thank
It's
you
up to a
very
whole year.
much.
And I want to remind you, you are simply one of the greatest women and one of the gifts God has given to Dominica. Moi, Mel, I love you. Je vous aime.
Whoa. Thank you very much, Wadix. Thank
Okay,
you.
thanks, Walix. Thanks a lot. Thanks
Bye,
a lot.
Wadix.
Yeah, Corinne, let's get back to you and Dr. Dion and Janice for your comments. We will be doing our honoring in just a moment, and or presentations, in fact, in just a moment.
Thank you. Thank you. I truly feel that we are honoring a Dominican hero. You are a national treasure. And as Wadix said, I will echo what he said, that my hope and my dream is that we as Dominicans and we in Dominica can do a lot more to honor people like you who have placed a stamp that is indelible on the island of Dominica and also on the world, as you have represented Dominica all over. And when people think of you, they think of Dominica. And we do this program, when we started this program, it really wasn't just about honoring the heroes for the sake of themselves, but honoring them as a way to demonstrate to our generation today and for those that will view this program in years to come that they too can achieve. They too have examples to emulate that is good, that is honorable, that teaches something, and that truly contributes back to the country that we all love and call home. In theology, there is a thing that we call contextual theology, where you bring the scriptures back into the context of the culture of the people. And that's what your music has done for me, and I'm sure for many others. The Magnificat is sung in many different languages, but hearing your Magnificat is truly a contextual experience that is unique to Dominica and proud of the people that we are and what we have given and can contribute to the world. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Keep on doing what you do and continue to be that example of what many can one day aspire to becoming, given the use of their gifts that God has given to them. Thank you, our kudos hero.
Thanks.
Thanks, Corinne. Dr. George.
Yes, good evening again, and thank you very much, Pastor Rodney, for your time and your service. And good evening to the lady who is being honored tonight. And so when I started, of course, I quote a scripture, and I quote Luke, chapter 1, verse 46. And as soon as I said it, you smiled because you knew exactly where the scripture came from.
That's right.
Yes. And Pastor Rodney, being the pastor that he is, he played it tonight. But before I give all my kudos to you, I do have some questions, maybe just one. Because like I said, I remember very well when I listened to I, Dominique, and those songs and where I was at the time. But there is one song that I never understood. Actually, there are 2, if I just have the moment to say it. So one of them is called Immigration or Emigration. And I think it's a very deep political song, and it's, you were young. And so I never really got the meaning of what it meant. And the other one, I'm not sure if it's you that sang it, but I can be humble enough to reach out to you. There's a song called Lamu Lamu. Was that you?
Yes, that was, well, Mark wants to answer, but I will give him half of the answer. He will answer about immigration.
Yes.
He wrote it. But I'll tell you that Lamu Lamu was written by Simon Girard of Martinique.
Okay.
There are two versions. Mine was the first, and then Edith Lefel of late memory did the second. He wanted it more, after I did it, he wanted, what is a whole story? Maybe I'll let Mark take it from here. He's more diplomatic than I am.
But I can tell you, these two songs, they have resonated with me. The immigration song and the Lamu Lamu. But of course, I talk about I, Dominic. But I can tell you your husband, Mark, can give me the substantive meaning, the content, and the history of those songs.
Yes.
But I just want the icon that you are. Mr. Husband, Mark, maybe you might want to tell me.
Well, it's not Mr. Husband, Mark. It's the author and composer, Mark, because I was the one who composed Immigration.
Yes, sir.
By Kyra Stacy. And if you listen to it carefully, you will notice that it speaks to a situation that existed and continues to exist in the French West Indies and in the Caribbean in general. Because we're from Dominica, we make more references to the Dominica situation. But the people in Martinique and Guadeloupe understood it perfectly well what I was singing, Ophelia was singing about. And that is the fact that there was, just as in the English-speaking Caribbean, a deliberate effort on the part of the French to not to repopulate, but to bring a number of workers to France to work after the Second World War.
And that's what I took from it.
Right. And they set up a special system called Bumidom, that's an acronym, where they would pay the people's passages to come to France, and they had these special hostels and so on where they would be housed. And within the Caribbean, the French West Indies, there was always this dispute and debate about whether that was a good thing. One, two, whether Guadeloupe and Martinique should move towards independence or not. So there was this.
That's exactly what I took from it.
Right, exactly. So that's what we were saying, and the people understood it clearly and carefully. Yeah, and a couple other groups, like a group from Martinique, Cali, who recorded it, as well as Pierre Adesimus himself recorded it as well, and it's well known precisely for the reasons you just gave. Because
anyway, Ophelia, I want to tell you that I really respect you. And I remember when you came to Midwestern. You remember that, right?
Yes, I remember.
Yes. And you were so engaged. So God bless you, and I love you.
Yes, God bless you too, and thanks for those questions.
Thank you.
And the Lamu Lamu song, the first time you got threatened with a lawsuit for copyright infringement. But we would have won the lawsuit if it had continued, for sure.
Okay. All right. And John, good night. I think you're muted. Will you unmute your mic, please? Janice, will you unmute your mic?
We're not hearing her.
You're still muted.
She's hearing us, but I don't think her mic is working. For
that was Mr. Gregoire's fault.
Okay. All right. I thought so.
All I want to say is, what an amazing program. When this dream began, it was to do exactly what is being done tonight. And I have to say, my God, what a woman. Your works have said it all. And I just want to say congratulations to you and congratulations to Mark, because he's always been at your side. Well done, my queen. I love you.
Thank you. I love you too.
Thank you, Johnny. So now, Sherwin, would you just come around this side? And those of you on Facebook watching us on the camera, we're about to do that presentation. Those of you listening to us on radio, one of the things that we do is that we do present a plaque. And the song that we use as our base song all the time talks about giving people flowers. And we believe in making sure that they have it while they are alive. They can smell the roses. They can look at the flowers and appreciate it. And so tonight, I'm not playing Gramps Morgan's song. I'm deliberately playing this song because I know that almost sounds like Ophelia's heart. Doing this, we're about to present her with a plaque. The plaque reads, "Kudos to our heroes, to Ophelia. Recognition and appreciation for lifelong achievement as cultural ambassador and lady of song." And that is signed by Mr. G, the chairman and CEO of WICE, of course, chairman of the Kudos for Heroes Committee.
By the nations all over the world. Is the mighty thing, and holy is His name, and His mercies on all those who fear.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we have done the presentation of the plaque, and we will now do the presentation of the flowers.
That's so many on every dish. It's put on the straw, and the God has left the weak, and the rich, He said empty away. Yeah.
The rich, you said empty.
He's gonna remember His help, and His light is all God. Every day, every nice.
Mr. G, that looks good.
True, it does. Certainly looks good. Looks great.
Very beautiful.
Beautiful.
Thy soul magnifies the Lord. My soul magnifies the Lord. My spirit has joy in the Lord our God, for His lifted upon the good.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have done these presentations on your behalf this evening. And as we usually do, we give Ophelia and Mark a couple minutes to just, respond to our presentations this evening. Ophelia, let's hear from you.
I am I am overwhelmed. But you're not going to make me cry tonight. But I want to say
cry.
thank you from the bottom of my heart. I have been told that Dominicans love me. Well, tonight I think I have a lot of proof, because every flower and every fruit, vibrant senior citizens, thank you, is really, every one of them is coming to me and saying something special, each one of them. I want to thank you, Pastor Randy. I want to thank Mr. Gregoire, and I still call him that. He used to be my boss, and I keep calling him. I think once I called him Sheridan. Other than that, it's Mr. Gregoire, and I don't know, and I don't care how he feels about that. I really want to thank him for his ideas and the good things that he manages to do. I remember he took me a place once to sing Magnificat in a mountain setting, and the sun was coming up and all of that. So, he has special moments in my life that I share with him. And Mark knows about all of them. So thanks. And thanks to each and every one of you on the panel. I really appreciate all of the words. I mean, I was surprised how you all found people who knew me and who spoke about all the things that they spoke about. I'm going to stop talking because I'm getting too excited. I am rambling, and I want to tell all of you thanks for the appreciation and the encouragement for me to continue being who God has made me to be. I love you all.
Good. Love you too. We love you too. Mac.
Mais Madame Lazare, tout ba noté vous dit comme ça, c'est pas la peine de répéter ça qu'ils a dit déjà. Parce que quand tout le monde, eh ben merci pour on est là sur Ophélia, c'est bah ça tout le monde Dominique mais Ophélia là, mais à présent nous voyons nous devant nous là soir. Comme ça, merci la Dominique, merci monsieur Gregoire, merci Q95 95, Tassi Radio, Visaï Radio, et puis à bientôt.
Merci. Mr. G, you heard how the man spoke.
Well, I heard him, yes. But I have to give Mark a lot of credit, Pastor Rodney and Ophelia, for a lot of these people who made their contributions tonight. I mean, Mark knows so much about Ophelia's life. I mean, I have to give credit to him. He didn't remember a little thing, which I'm sure if I didn't remember that, my wife would forgive me too. He didn't remember, the date they got married and so on. As Rodney, but
my wife would have given me a call out tonight there for sure.
But he did say 77. He said it.
Yeah, sometimes we forget those little things. But Mark did not forget to really deep. And you can see the wealth of people that Ophelia knew and how these people loved and cherished and respected Ophelia. I really have to say, Pastor Rodney, thanks to Ophelia. It's not so much she thanking us and the Q family and the people on Facebook and YouTube and so on, worldwide who are listening and watching. Really, we all want to thank Ophelia for a tremendous life that she's had and the amount that she's given back to all of us. I just want to remind Ophelia of one little thing. Maybe Mark might remember that. I believe we had a trade show somewhere. Was it in 1978 at the St. Martin School?
Yes.
Yes. That is the first time I heard Ophelia perform.
It was the first time I did an Ophelia show.
Right.
Yes. That's where she did Achibule Bam 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 Woy. And I whined like a ball of twine for her.
I suspect that is the moment when Mark really listened to Ophelia and really started to appreciate the wealth of talent that this lady had, because everybody in that place was spellbound for that performance by Ophelia on that night. So this is something that I will always remember.
You were one of the organizers, Mr. Gregoire. Don't be humble here.
Well, it's one of the things that I've done.
Yes, and I really do appreciate and always remember that. Thank you.
Yes. So Pastor Rodney, it's all been great. I mean, people like Ophelia give us so much. I mean, this is part of the history of Dominica. When the historians write, I want all of them to remember they have to include Ophelia as having impacted for a very long time not only the culture of Dominica and the music and so on, but she's touched so many lives of so many people that are in Dominica now, so many who are outside of Dominica, but even the people who are not Dominicans, who are friends of Dominica, who just love Ophelia for who she is and what she has given to the world, given to Dominica. And I hope Dominica will forever appreciate all of what Ophelia has done. We certainly appreciate it there tonight, Pastor Rodney. And thank you, Ophelia, and thank you, Mark.
Thanks again, all of you.
You're welcome.
Thank you to the entire committee, and thanks for being here. Ladies and gentlemen, that's where we come to the end of this honoring here tonight. We are grateful for your calls and for those of you who listen to us. And so we say a very pleasant good evening to every one of you. Good night, guys on the team.
Good night, Pastor Rodney. Good night,
bless.
Mark. Good night, Ophelia. Good night, Dion, Janice.
All right.
Corinne.
Good night, all. Good night.
Okay. All right.
Great job. Be
Okay.
safe.
God bless.
Okay.
Excellent.
Yeah.